Hello, everyone, and welcome to Challenge 4, The Trial by Fire. This game is called The Trial by Fire for 3 reasons. Reason number 1, there's a new aspect being introduced called the burning aspect, and it is one of the strongest aspects in the entire game, including in the final trial. Now, the pieces that you get that have this aspect are only seen in this game and the final trial, but you will see the burning aspect return quite a few times before we get to the final trial itself. Reason number 2 is that at this point, material advantage becomes almost completely pointless. Position advantage, as well as keeping your strongest pieces protected and utilized to the most of their ability, is the most important thing from this point on. For example, I could have a vice general even if the enemy doesn't, but if my vice general isn't actively being used to win me the game, I could get destroyed before it even gets a chance to come into play. And reason number 3 is that this challenge is the halfway point on your way to the final trial. The power level of this game is about to spike, as this game will introduce a ton of strong pieces, including the fire demons, which I earlier mentioned are strong, but they are one of the strongest pieces in the entire game, and they're introduced here for the very reason that this game is going to have to force you to change up your tempo, adapt, and overcome the new situations that's going to be thrown at you quickly. This game is fast. It's a lot faster than the previous 3 that we've seen, and in order to stay on top of things, you need to min-max your ability to keep your step movers important, keeping your ranging pieces, burning pieces, and area movers protected and putting out as much pressure as possible, because wavering for even a few seconds can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Having said all of that, let's go into a few of the new and different parts of this board. As you can see, it's 1 space larger than the last one, so the board hasn't gotten too much larger. I will also remind everyone at this point that this is 4 times the size of a regular Western chess board. It is a 16 by 16 board. You'll also note the promotion lines. As always, they are right in front of the pawn line. That means that there are 5 rows in both players' backline or promotion zone, and inside each of those is 16 columns. You now have 2 new forward units, those being your dogs, and they are also positioned between the go-betweens, as you still have go-betweens. Your backline area has 4 empty spaces, as it has increased by 1 from the last game, and your non-symmetry for this game is between your 2 middle rows, which is where you have a burning lion, a vice general, a lion hawk, a spirit dove, lion, princess, your king, your drunken elephant. There are also 3 more aspects of non-symmetry, which is your Kirin and your phoenix, which are right next to the middle rows. And on your left side, you'll have the she-devil, diagonally away from your divine guardian. And on the right side, you'll have your dove, which is diagonally away from your wrestler. Again, just like all the other games, this is a flipped, not mirrored setup, and as such, the she-devil is on the same row as your dove. Having said all that, let's hop into a recap of all the pieces that are in this game that were from the previous 3 games. And now that we've got the recap done, let's go into new pieces, starting with the dog. The dog is a very simple forward unit that you'll be seeing a lot of in the next few games, and it's basically just the same movements as the Iron General, and its promotion is the Pack of Wolves. You'll note that this promotion is actually really good for a forward unit, but you also might remember that the go-between promoted to the Drunken Elephant, and I mentioned in that and I will mention here, forward units don't typically promote. The reason they don't typically promote is because they get killed or traded off a lot when you're actually playing the game, and that's because they're generally just used as fodder. They're forward for a reason. They help you set up quickly, can help defend things. They're typically already ready to be prepared for a fight, but that's because they're kind of made to die. So if you ever actually get a Pack of Wolves on the field, it is a really good promotion and can be used to a great extent, but don't get your hopes up that you'll be promoting to this every game. Next up, we'll be talking about the Divine Guardian. It has a limit range of up to 3 step moves in the orthogonal directions, and you'll see a similar piece to this extent in a second, but I'll first talk about its promotion, which is the Heavenly Tetrarch. There's a lot to take in right off the bat looking at this, especially even just looking at the art of the piece. It's kind of a complicated looking piece, but if we break this down, we've seen all of these before. As you can see, it's got the first piece of a railed double move, which means that it can make an Igui eat move, but that's it. So basically, it's got the eat part of the double move, but nothing else. So that means that the Heavenly Tetrarch in any direction can make a eat move and then move back to where it started, but it can't continue to a second step. This means it can't capture 2 pieces in one turn, but it can capture 1 piece without moving. It's got that every direction. On its sides, though, it has a jump to limit range of 1 step, meaning it can jump to this space, and then after jumping to that space, it can move 1 step unless it's impeded by this space, in which case it would jump to this space and capture the piece there. On all the other directions, of course, it has the same thing on this side. All the other directions, it's got a jump to range movement, which means that it can jump 1 space, and if there's no piece here, it can continue its range from that point on as if it was a ranging piece. And it's got that every other direction. So upon breaking it down, not a super complex piece. Now you'll be seeing this piece very limited, especially in this game, but it becomes even more important in later games. So keep in mind how useful this piece can be if you get it as a promotion, because it is very powerful. Next up, we've got the Wrestler. Now, I just said you might be seeing a similar piece to the Divine Guardian. That's the Wrestler. It has the limit range of up to 3 steps on the diagonals instead of orthogonals. So it's kind of like the Divine Guardian's counterpart. Now, there's actually 2 more pieces in this series of pieces that all promote to the Heavenly Tetrarch. But I won't be talking about the other 2 until the next game, because they aren't in this game. But this one also promotes to the Heavenly Tetrarch that I just discussed. Next, we'll be talking about the Bishop General. Now, this is a new movement type. It's actually not necessarily as new as you might expect. This is a tier 3 cannon move, or hop range, which is the 3rd type. I showed off the 2nd type, or the 2nd tier of hop range in the last video, but I'll be explaining how this one works now. Basically, you can use it like a normal range move. So if these were instead replaced with the red color that I've been using for range moves, it would act exactly the same. You can use this just like a normal bishop. But it can also make a special capture type, which is the tier 3 cannon capture. When you use this attack, it can jump over as many pieces as you want to in order to attack. Now, this means you can capture pretty much any piece that the bishop general could see, except all royal pieces are immune to this ability. So the only way for the bishop general to capture a royal piece is if it does it without hopping over any pieces. Otherwise, it can hop over as many pieces as it would like and capture any piece in the diagonal spaces that it holds. Its promotion is the vice general. And I just explained how the tier 3 cannon moves work, so I'm assuming you can take that into effect and understand that this is a really strong piece. It's basically a queen, but with the tier 3 cannon moves. And like I said, the only way to capture royal pieces with this tier 3 cannon is by attacking them as if it was a regular ranging piece. Next up, we'll talk about the rook general. And I'm sure you can understand how this piece works as well, especially if you understood how the bishop general and its promotion, the vice general, work. Its promotion, on the other hand, is a flying crocodile. Now, this piece has a new aspect. Movement-wise, you can see this pretty easy. It's got the diagonals of a bishop plus the orthogonals of a rook general. But its new aspect, this aspect is called carnage. And unlike some of the aspects we've seen before, this aspect will be coming back again and again. You'll see carnage a lot in the following few games. But basically what carnage allows you to do is upon capturing a piece, you may capture a second piece that is surrounding the piece. And when I say surrounding, I mean anywhere within a one-step range in any direction move. So the king's range is its surrounding area. So if I were to use the flying crocodile to capture a piece right here, I could then capture a piece anywhere in these spaces. Up, the vice general themselves. We saw this as a promotion of the bishop general, but this is also just a piece on its own. This piece, on the other hand, does not actually promote. I'm now going to be discussing how the tier 3 hop range works here. As you can see, it is on the vice general, rook general, bishop general, and the flying crocodile, which is the promotion of the rook general. As you can see, this setup is whatever. It doesn't matter what the actual effects of the setup are. But this fire demon right here is a strong piece on the enemy's team that we would definitely want to remove. This rook, on the other hand, cannot capture it because the silver general is in the way. But this rook general here can capture it because it can use its hop range to jump over the rook and over the silver general and land on top of the fire demon, killing it. Now, obviously, it can get captured by the copper general right afterwards, but that's not necessarily very important, and notably, that's a good trade. If you're ever able to trade your rook general for a fire demon, I would almost always recommend it. Another situation you can see over here is that the vice general is in range with the king. So is this bishop general. They both are in range to hop over pieces and capture the king. But I said earlier, and I'll state it again, the tier 3 hop range cannot be used to capture the king. On the other hand, if the silver general were to move, the bishop general now is in range to capture the king because it can use a normal range move to attack the king. And that counts as a capture. So that silver general is kind of stuck right now because if it moves, the king would be captured. When it comes to this hop range, the tier 3 version at least, you can hop over as many pieces as you would like when making a capture. But when you move, you must move as if it is a normal ranging piece. It may also capture as if it is a ranging piece normally, so it can hop over 0 pieces and then make a capture, but in order to move, it must move without hopping. Next up, we saw it as the promotion of the lion, but we have a lion hawk to start with on this field as well. We've already seen the lion hawk in action. It's got the same moves as a lion, plus the moves of a bishop. Its promotion, the tarantula hawk moth, is a very strong piece. As you can see, its Igui Eat move area is huge, and its space that it controls after that is even larger. And that's because of this new movement art that you can see here, which is the 5 times step move, which allows you to capture up to 5 pieces in one move. If the circumstances are correct, at least. As you can see, its Igui range is like, for example, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then reject its last movement to stay in the same spot. It can end up in the same spot after capturing 2 pieces. And if the pieces are right here, here, and here, or here, here, and here, somewhere within the range that a lion could Igui Eat move, this piece can 1, 2, 3, 4 reject its last movement to end up in the same spot, capturing 3 surrounding pieces without moving. That is, of course, only talking about the moves you can make with it without moving the piece. You could instead perhaps go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, capturing any pieces along that row as it went. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, capturing a random array of pieces that are in an odd organization next to it. Basically, this piece is extremely powerful, and you can easily and quickly checkmate the enemy king very, very, very quickly upon promoting to it. The only problem is actually getting your Lionhawk into the fray of the enemy and promoting it without getting backlash from the other pieces added in this version, which are equally strong and aggressive against the Lionhawk. Next up, we'll be talking about the Dove. Now, the Dove is a somewhat more aggressive protector in the sense that its aggressive diagonal moves are less protective. It is more likely to be used as a Fire Demon defensive piece. The main reason you'll have your Dove around is to protect against attacks from that piece, because the Dove holds a nice space around your base. If you do end up promoting your Dove, on the other hand, it would become the Divine Pond Princess. A bit of a mouthful, but the premise in that this piece's promotion is that it loses a lot of its protective area denial and becomes more of a long-ranged threat creator, in the fact that it has these jump to limit range of 2 spaces on the orthogonals, whereas its diagonals are turned into a tier 2 cannon move, or hop range, that you have to hop over a piece in order to capture, but can range normally to move. Divine Pond Princess, I wouldn't necessarily recommend promoting to it unless you have a good reason, because unless this thing is immediately putting pressure on a piece you want to capture, it's more likely that you're going to want to save your Dove as protection against the enemy. Next up, we have the She-Devil. Like the Dove had a limit range of 5 on the diagonals and a orthogonal limit range of 2, this has a limit range of 2 on its diagonals. And as such, its promotion also reflects that similarity. The Red Tongue is exactly the same as the Divine Pond Princess in the fact that its diagonals and orthogonals are swapped. So this tier 2 cannon moves are on the orthogonals, and its jump to limit range of 2 is on the diagonals. Again, I don't necessarily recommend promoting to this piece unless you have a good reason to, because the She-Devil especially holds a lot more powerful space, and especially protecting against strong pieces from this game. It defends well and can keep your board safe more effectively. Next up, we'll be talking about the Water Buffalo. Kind of bringing back the craziness of the last few moves, the Water Buffalo very simply looks a lot like the Mighty Boar, except it also has these limit range of 2s on the forward and behind of it for range. It's a good defender and can often strengthen a strong diagonal attack or battery that it is set up for, but a lot of times you'll be using your Water Buffalo and hoping to trade it, as its promotion isn't necessarily the best. Its promotion is the Dream Eater, which replaces these strong sideways protective ranges with much weaker but still decent limit range of 5 protective ranges to the sides, and replaces those wimpy limit range of 2s with regular ranges. The Dream Eater is controversial in the fact that you lose the protection that the Water Buffalo gave you for a stronger attack, but more likely, if you've gotten your Water Buffalo to the point where it's promoted, it's already far enough into the enemy lines that promoting to it at all was almost pointless. There are circumstances where promoting could be useful, although. Next up, we've got your most powerful protective piece in this game, the Spirit Dove. You can lock down an entire sector of your backline, the entire thing, by just standing there and protect you against fire demons from that point on. As you can see, it's got a 3 times multi-move, just like a lion, but 1 extra time, at the same ego range as the lion, although this is somewhat deceptive, as the Spirit Dove can actually capture 2 pieces that are next to it. For example, 1, 2, and then return to its area with its 3rd move. This allows the Spirit Dove to protect the surrounding area more effective than a lion. It also allows it to quickly take space with a triple move and capturing 3 pieces to protect your area more effectively. Again, this is probably your strongest defensive piece, and to back up the fact that it's your strongest defensive piece, it does not promote. So there's no point in pushing this anywhere other than your own backline to protect yourself. If you do decide to use it as an aggressor, I would instead recommend using the Lionhawk, as promoting it makes it an even stronger attacking piece, and not promoting it doesn't bring away from the fact that your Lionhawk's actually faster than the Spirit Dove with its bishop movement. We've got the Burning Lion here. The Burning Lion has a new aspect for us to discuss, but before I discuss the aspect, I just want to explain its movement. It's got a railed double move in every direction, meaning it could eagerly eat and then move back in either direction, or simply take a double step to attack twice. Remember, you're talking about these double moving, you do not have to use every move. So for example, if you want to move to right here, you can simply move the lion there and reject your final movement. That is always an option. Now, to explain the aspect that the Burning Lion has, this is known as the burning aspect, or the fire aspect. The burning aspect is by far the strongest aspect we've seen so far. What the burning aspect does is the area surrounding a piece that has the burning aspect is considered on fire. If a piece that is not friendly moves into that range, it immediately is captured and dies. Not because the piece moves and kicks it, but because it just burns away. It is destroyed. If you, as a piece that has the burning aspect, move into an area with enemy pieces that are surrounding it, those also die immediately by the active burn of the piece. The burning aspect is split up into 2 parts, the passive burn and the active burn. The passive burn will burn up any pieces attempting to approach a burning piece, and the active burn activates upon moving towards enemy pieces that will immediately be burned up. Now, the active burn can burn your own units, but the passive burn cannot. In the same way, the active burn activates after a passive burn, meaning that if you attack a burning piece with another burning piece, you must capture it, period. Because if you try to capture it with its burn, you'll get burned beforehand. This might be a little confusing, but I'll be explaining this further once I talk about the fire demons, and so if you're a little bit confused, just hold tight on that for a second. Before we touch on explaining the burning aspect to its fullest, I'm going to explain the rest of the pieces in this game, leading up to the fire demons themselves. We've got the Horned Falcon coming up next. You've seen this as a promotion of the Dragon Horse, but it's now a piece that you start with, and you might be excited to know that it does have a promotion, that being the Mighty Falcon. As you can see by the art here, which you've seen before, it's gained the ability to orthogonally double move. This means that it can take 2 steps, ending in any of these greens, or make an Igui-Eat move. Of course, it could also just move 1 space if you would like to, but it can do that with its range to begin with. Other than that, it moves in the same way that a queen would, so it has full movement in all the range directions. Next up, we've got the Soaring Eagle. Again, you've seen this as a regular piece. Its promotion might not surprise you. It's the Mighty Eagle. It moves in the same way as a queen, plus the ability to, in the diagonals, double move. So, double move to capture 2 pieces, or to Igui-Eat move. Finally, it's time to talk about the piece that's going to be replacing the queen for the rest of the games, the princess. The princess moves exactly like the queen. It has everything exactly the same as the queen, except it actually does have a promotion, which is why it's replacing the queen for the rest of the game. It's the Samurai Warrior, and would you look at that? We're seeing Carnage for the second time already. Now, in the same example that I used earlier, I'm going to be going over how the Carnage works. As you can see right here, we have a Samurai Warrior, which is in line to make a movement like this. Upon moving here, it would capture the Dragon Horse underneath it, and now it uses its Carnage move to make an attack. It can either capture the Copper General or this Bishop that are right next to it, because those are pieces that are in the surrounding area. It can only capture one of them. Now, this is where Carnage comes in very handy for being a specific piece grab. As the fire demons destroy everything, Carnage is a little bit more selective. In this scenario, the Bishop is worth more, but if you capture the Copper General with that Carnage move, you would keep your Samurai Warrior protected, as the Samurai Warrior would not be taken back by this Bishop. Now, in this given scenario, if you actually moved here, this Fire Demon could capture you, but let's ignore that case for now and just explain that Carnage gives you a little bit more room to pick when you're moving, and it also does not affect your friendly units. Also notably, the Samurai Warrior would not be able to do this and then capture the Dragon Horse. It has to make a capture in order to activate Carnage. Over here now, let's go to this Flying Crocodile. As I've said earlier, these hop ranges are not able to go over and capture royal pieces. The royal pieces are immune to the effect of a tier 3 hop range. But the Flying Crocodile has Carnage, so jumping over its 2 friendly pieces and capturing the Drunken Elephant would then allow its Carnage to capture the king. The Samurai Warrior replacing the queen as its promotion is very powerful. When a princess promotes, it does not activate Carnage. Carnage only activates once already promoted, and you take a capture. So, upon promoting, you'll be able to wreak havoc with every attack you make with the Samurai Warrior. And it's finally that time. We're talking about the Fire Demon themselves. The piece that single-handedly caused this game to go from simply the 4th trial to the halfway point on the way to a 36 by 36 board with over 300 unique pieces. This piece is your first real challenge, overcoming the power that it holds. May not seem like much at first, but this burning aspect, once you start playing around with it, you'll understand how powerful it truly is. And like I said, I'll show some examples of how it truly works on the board right now to clear up any misconceptions. I'm going to be going over a few examples as to how the burning aspect works, and a little bit of a visual here. As you can see, I have highlighted around the pieces that have the burning aspect this red symbol. Now, this represents the range that the burn has on these pieces. As you can see, it's the same range as a king's movement, or the surrounding spaces of the piece are considered burning. To start off with, I'm going to explain how passive burn does not affect your friendly units. As you can see here, this blind tiger is in the burning radius of this fire demon. But it is not being captured because it is a friendly unit. Passive burn is the burn that is always active, and it does not affect your friendly units. If this burning lion, on the other hand, were to take 2 steps forward here, whenever a piece that has the burning aspect moves, it triggers its active burn. This is a friendly dragon horse, but because it was hit by the active burn, it immediately gets burned and captured, removed from the board. But this fire demon here is not captured by this, because pieces that have the burning aspect are immune to the effects of active burn from your own pieces. So this burning lion moving with its burn range in the range of this piece does not kill it because the piece has the fire aspect. Now, if this fire demon here were to move over to this section right here, this area, it would not burn these pieces. It moved past them, but it does not matter. That is not the way burning works. It also would not capture the blind tiger because its active burn activates over here, not over here. This blind tiger is still safe. Over here, on the other hand, moving into that area would immediately destroy all of the pieces that were within the active burn radius of this fire demon. The piece that it landed on top of gets captured, and then these 3 pieces all get burned, which means they are moved from play. Now, if this fire demon were to make another move, perhaps moving over here to on top of this rook, its active burn would hit this fire demon, but passive burn activates first, and as such, the fire demon would get captured by the passive burn of the enemy fire demon. The rook would also get captured because the capture happens first. So, what would happen in this scenario is the fire demon would move on top of the rook, capture the rook, and then the enemy fire demon's passive burn would activate, destroying this fire demon, which means that the active burn of the fire demon that got captured, this one right here, would not ever activate, meaning it would not destroy this fire demon, and it would also not destroy this go-between. The go-between would survive. The piece it landed on top of, on the other hand, would get captured, because the capture happens before the burn happens. Hopefully this made sense. Going over its movements quick, you'll see it has very weak retreating moves, and its forward move is a simple limit range of 2 steps. It's got forward diagonal attacks, and it has a little bit of protection for itself, more than likely, on the side ranges. Once you get this piece into your enemy's back lines, it's almost impossible to stop them. You will not want the enemy to promote this piece, and if they do promote it, they can back up because the promotion of the fire demon is the demon dragon, which very simply gives it the ability to retreat with these backward diagonal moves, and its forward movement is also replaced with the same step 2 single range. The main bulk of this piece is tied up with its burning aspect. You will see the burning aspect return in multiple different pieces, but never as strong as the fire demon and demon dragon combo. This is the strongest the burning aspect will ever be in this series of trials, because not only do they have no weakness in this game, they are the strongest piece that has the burning aspect in the entire game. That includes Trial 8.
Now going to be going over some basic strategies for trial by fire. As of the current game, you have less options to deal with the threat, and as such, this entire game will be played around the idea that keep your fire demons as front and forward as possible while limiting the amount of risk you put on them. Because if you lose both your fire demons and the enemy still has one, you're probably going to lose the game. They are by far the most overtuned piece for this board game right here. in later trials, you'll be giving more options to deal with them. But as of right now, your spirit dove, your lion hawk, and some of your better area movers, such as the dove and the she-devil, are going to be your best defenses to stop them from invading into your defenses. You want to keep your promotion zones as locked down as possible in this game, even more than last time, because allowing the fire demon to promote is a terrible event that could destroy your entire board very, very, very quickly. Allowing a burning lion to infiltrate your base is also terrible, although they do not promote, and as such have a little bit more counterplay abilities. Very important to note is that worrying about a flank is completely pointless because, as you can see, in 2 moves, your flank is put down. It doesn't really even matter. You could have every single one of your like ranging pieces right here, and if a fire demon moves to right here, your game is over. I mean, what, you can't move here because you'll just get taken. If you start trying to infiltrate, they'll back up and start burning your attack. And I mean, I had this happen with one game. I was playing this game with a friend, and exactly what I just said happened. They started putting up a huge flank on this side, and it got burned immediately, and they lost a ton of tempo because of it. And that is not... You cannot lose tempo in this game, especially with these burning aspect, because the burning aspect has a sense of tempo exchange already, because a burning piece at its base thing allows a trade to be less effective. For example, your vice general is set up to immediately capture the enemy burning lion if they really feel like doing so. But if they do so, the tempo is lost because it automatically gets burned by the aspect of the fire demon right next to it. And as such, it's now white's turn, and they don't have to recapture because the fire demon did the capture for them without even spending a turn. That is one of the huge, powerful parts of the fire demons and burning lions. As far more importantly, it's more of the power of the fire aspect itself. Any piece that has the fire aspect has a chance and an ability to quickly take back tempo, especially given the fact that if you get into a bad situation, you could find yourself losing a ton of pieces without the capabilities of recapturing. Now, in this situation that I just did, it would burn all of these pieces, but then the Spirit Dove would immediately be able to recapture. And so that's not necessarily a good move, especially given the fact that you want to protect your fire demons as most importantly. I also wouldn't, although it's very important for every game, including this one to some extent, moving your step movers up first is always important. But keeping step movers back to protect your backline is also very important. Be careful with protecting with step movers, although in this game, a step mover cannot kill a fire demon. For example, if this Iron General is right here and the Fire Demon is right here, the Fire Demon can capture it. Even if it's right here, the Iron General, you give me 2 turns and the Iron General can't kill that Fire Demon. Because if it moves into range, it immediately dies. The only step movers that are capable of capturing the Fire Demon in this game would be your Wrestler, your Dove, and to some extent, your Water Buffalo could be considered a step mover in the fact that it has the step moves right there. But realistically speaking, the Water Buffalo is a ranger, and you'll most likely be attacking it with its range move. The Fire Demon is going to be the boss, and you both have 2. But keeping it in check and making sure that you don't allow your enemy's Fire Demon to bully you, whilst also bullying them with your own, is important. I would also recommend letting them pull their Fire Demon out first and then putting up a huge defense and taking it down before you bring out one of your own. Because usually, and I have seen this from experience, and I'm not a professional by any means, but the person that takes out their Fire Demon first is usually the one that loses a Fire Demon first. And taking it out second can usually bring out better strategy and allow you to have built up a better castle before trying to invade. Another strategy that I found very useful is to try to bring out your bishop generals here and try to immediately strike at the fire generals from within. Because as you can see here, there isn't really a way to stop this bishop general from attacking this fire demon. Now, obviously, that took 2 turns. I needed to move both of these and then move the bishop general itself. So I had plenty of time to defend this location, but it can be devastating if you allow it to happen. For example, a move you can make before the bishop general gets taken out is this horned falcon move right here. This allows you to immediately recapture if it does this. And that's something that I've used to great extent in my games. Because remember, these have the railed double moves, so they can jump over the pawn at the beginning. Now, moving them out like this could also be deadly because, as you can see, if this fire general's here, there's no recapturing that. That piece dies, all of these pieces die, and you still have the threat of this bishop general here. Obviously, of course, this would have attacked this, but that's not the point that I'm trying to make right now. Because, of course, if this gets put here, the only thing you can do to save your fire demon is burn all of these pieces. And then it's protected. It's not a good move by any means. Losing your rook general and your bishop general, as well as a soaring eagle dragon knight, these 2 don't really matter as much, just to save your fire demon is sometimes worth it. And that just shows how powerful the fire demons are for this game particularly. Like I said, in later trials, the fire demons are coming back, but not for a while. And it's usually when the fire aspect is actually going to be the thing that comes back before the fire demons do. But it's not going to be as strong because there are, first of all, less powerful pieces that have it, and second of all, more things to deal with it. For example, the water aspect, but I'm not going to be explaining what that is yet.
Thank you all for watching. I'm super happy with this project so far, and I hope you all are enjoying it as well. Next up, we'll be looking at Challenge 5, Trial of the Nets. I hope I'll see you all there. And again, I want to say thank you for watching. Goodbye.